All right, today in math, you are going to use your collection cards again, and you're going to be playing a little game. If you don't have someone to play it with, you can always do this by yourself. But if you are at school, you're going to grab this paper that says Tuesday Math and your collection cards. If you are not at school, I will give you access to the online version. So this is how you play. Each player will get 5 cards. So you're going to pull out 5 cards from the pile. So if you're playing the online version, I can turn my cards over by clicking them and I can move them. And your goal is to find 2 matching categories. So when I look at my cards here, I will see that I actually have 2 cards in the stamp category. So here's one stamps and here's another stamps. These are in the same category. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I have a pair, I have a match. And you could play this another way too. If you wanted to spread all the cards out and flip them over and play a matching game like that, you can play it like that. If you're playing alone, that might be more fun. If you're playing against someone or with someone, they would have 5 cards and you would have 5 cards, and you can see your cards and they can see their own cards. Because then, if you don't have a match on your turn, you could say to them, do you have a toy card? Because I have a toy card and I'm looking for a toy card. And if they have one, they have to give it to me. So that's kind of how, if you play against someone, you could have your 5 cards and then you could think about asking for a match. But if you want to play alone and flip them over, you can. So now that I have a match, I'm going to pull these 2 cards out and I'm going to record what I find. So I'm going to record on this side of my recording sheet the 2 numbers on these cards. So one of the cards is 218. The other card is 145. So I'm going to write those down. Now, the way that we're going to play this game is we're only going to worry about the hundreds today. So I'm going to add up my hundreds and I'm going to write down my score. So the example on this card, on this sheet, it says that they have 5 hundreds. But what I want you to pay attention to is that there was a 100 and a 300. 300 and 100 equals 400. But if you look at the tens, there was a 30 and a 70. That's going to get me over to another 100. So that means I got 5 hundreds or a 5. So look at this one. My stamps on these 2 cards, I have 200 and I have 100. So if I add 200 and 100, I will get 300. And then I can look at my tens. I have a 10 and a 4, a 40. That's only 50. That's not another 100. So my score for this round would be a 3. I got a score of a 3. And now I'm done with these cards. So I can discard them and get rid of them. And I go ahead and I replace the cards and I get 2 new cards for my next turn. So you're really just focusing in on the hundreds place of these numbers, and that's how you get a score. And you want to have a score that is the highest score. So at the end of the game, you can add up all the points that you got to see how many points that you got. But even if you're not playing against someone, you're practicing some addition skills that might feel simple and easy, but they're good practice to focus on place value. So one more time, if you're playing against someone else, you deal out 5 cards. Each of you gets 5 cards, and you look at your cards and you take turns finding a match. If you didn't have a match, you can ask them, do you have a toy card? Do you have a coin card? To try to get a match. If they have one, they have to give it to you. And then, if I'm playing by myself, I could flip all these cards over where I can't see them, and I can try to flip them over and look for a match that way. But don't forget, we're writing down the numbers in an equation, and then we're focusing on adding the hundreds.